bought your cricket bat, the next most important stage is to then look after it. The better you look after your bat, the longer it will last, and more importantly, the better performance you'll get from it. First thing is to make sure it's knocked in. A lot of manufacturers offer what they call pre-knocked in bats, but we would say to you, you still want to do a bit more knocking in, and for those bats that haven't been knocked in, definitely need a full knocking in treatment.
It ain't all good, and that's the truth. Things ain't going like
There are two ways to really knock in your bat. First of all, you can do it yourself, and that's really going to require either an old ball in a sock or a bat mallet. With either of these two, you then literally take your bat and you hammer it for a couple of hours. It's steady and painful work, it's going to annoy your family and friends, but you know you've meticulously done it by hand. The second option is you can use our knocking in machine based on site here in our bat workshop that will be overseen by one of the master craftsmen and bat makers, ensuring that your bat is hit over thousands of times, giving you the feel-good factor that when you go out to play, it's ready for use. The knocking in process will ensure that as you hammer that bat, the soft fibres underneath the outer side of the bat become harder, making sure there's less chance of any cracks appearing early in its life. If you do it yourself, knock it in, or you take advantage of our service, just make sure before you go out to play you use some soft balls and some throwdowns, making sure you're comfortable with your bat and more importantly, it's ready for play.
We built this large pizza pie together, no pepperoni. Yeah, you wanted extra cheese, sometimes I gave you extras. How we divided slices like the Red Sea theory.
The next stage, having knocked in your bat, is to make sure you give it some oil. This ensures that the willow stays nice and soft throughout the lifespan of the bat, making sure it doesn't become brittle and more prone to cracking and breaking. To oil a bat, you need some raw linseed oil and you want to apply a very light coat to it. You can do this by either using some cotton wool, an old sock or even a small paintbrush. What you're doing though is not trying to change the colour of the willow, you're just trying to give it enough oil just to seep in to keep it soft. If the willow absorbs the first coat straight away, then feel free to apply a second coat again, but not too much. If you've purchased a natural bat, in terms of there's no facing on the front, then you'll apply the oil on the face of the blade, leaving it horizontal overnight to seep through the willow. Please make sure that you don't go anywhere near the splice, which is at the bottom of the handle and the triangle, and avoid all the stickers as well. If you've got a bat that's already been pre-prepared with a sheet of anti-scuff on the front, which looks like a laminate, then you also need to avoid this as well. That being the case, turn the bat over and apply oil to the back of the bat, leaving it horizontal overnight, again to seep through the willow. Another way of ensuring longevity in your bat is to consider using a sheet of anti-scuff. A lot of the pros use this, and what it is really like a laminate that goes on the face of your bat, protecting it and covering it. It's clear, it's see-through, so it doesn't affect the aesthetics of your bat, but what it does is help protect the edges and holds any surface cracks together throughout the lifespan of the bat. Some people also consider reinforcing the edges of the bat with some fiberglass bat tape. This again helps prevent cracking on the edges of the bat and can help make the bat last longer. It's important that once you've got your bat and it's all knocked in and you've been using it, you really want to store it in a cool, dry place. There's no point in putting it next to a radiator or in your airing cupboard because it's just going to dry out, become brittle and then crack.
how long